Good morning and welcome to SB Connect, where we connect to and educate for the world of work. Today is the first in a series called Entrepreneurship Month. Today we have Gaby Molina, Gaby Molina, CEO of Mars Graphix, working with us all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada. So let's welcome Gaby Molina, CEO of Mars Graphix.
Good morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Good morning. My name is Gaby Molina. I am founder of Mars Graphix, short Mars Graphix. I always like the name Mars just because it's catchy. You know, like, where did it come from? It's like, you know, if you say, hey, you know, I got it from Mars. Who made your shirt? Mars printed it. So it's very catchy. And it goes back to like when I was younger, I said, you know, I love pan dulce, you know, being Hispanic, Latina, like you got to have your pan dulce, your sweetbread. And if you haven't tried it, you got to try it. So I would say, if I ever opened up a coffee shop, I would call it Mars. Like, hey, let's grab some coffee at Mars. You know, it just sounds amazing. It sounds pretty funny. It's very catchy. So that's where Mars came in. And Graphix, I put an IX at the end because one of my mentors is Forbes Graphix. They're in Hesperia, and they end theirs with an IX too, or just an X. So I just wanted to, you know, give them some credit too, because it's just they help me out a lot too. So, you know, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, I'm Gaby Molina. Gaby Molina. I am here just to show you guys and share you guys my story. Everything started when I was 14 years old, around your guys' age. I was 14 years old, and I was always into computers, you know, but again, I didn't think computers was something that you could make a living off of. I thought it was just something, okay, you know, you type or you paint or whatever. That's what I would do, you know, but I never thought that it would evolve into something like this. So when I was in high school, I was taking a computer class, and it was called clerical occupations, where they teach you how to type and do Excel sheets and all that stuff. I was in there for the computers, you know, and yeah, to learn, of course. But I remember every Friday, my teacher would give us a free day. So in that free time, you know, the free day Friday, I would, you know, go on the computer and I would open up Paint and I would draw or put pictures together and just kind of like just stack them, you know, and trying to make a design out of it. So one day I was like, I wonder if I can make a shirt out of this. And I don't even remember what the design looked like. So I went to Walmart and keep in mind, I come from a family of, I have a huge family. There's 6 of us. I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. And my dad worked and my mom stayed home. So the income was a little bit tight. And when I would ask my mom for something, she'd be like, no, because if I buy you something, I have to buy the rest of something. So the resources were very limited. But when you really want to learn something and you want to figure it out, you'll find a way or you'll save money because you want to see it. So I went to Walmart one day and I was like, there has to be something, you know, and I looked, I'm like, oh my God, image transfer paper. And I was reading the instructions and I thought, oh my God, you're able to print. And once you print it, you're able to flip the image before you print. And then you could press it onto a shirt or iron it on there. Back then it was an iron. I had no idea what a heat press was. So, so within time I saved, it was like $8 or whatever. And I went back to Walmart, I purchased it. I purchased the paper and I went back to school on a Friday, our free Friday. And I asked my teacher, like, hey, Ms. Braden, that's her name. I said, hey, can you print this for me? But when you print it, can you please mirror it? You know, I just read the instructions. I don't know what the heck mirroring was either, you know? And so she mirrored it. I'm like, oh, so the image is reversed. So when you put the design on your facing down on your shirt, it stamps directly onto your shirt. So my first design was, don't laugh, you guys. It was a Shakira shirt, you know, Shakira. I don't know that. Okay, yeah, her. It was her picture. It was a picture of her like in concert or whatever. And I printed it and I went home and I was so excited. Can't wait to iron this, you know. And it was me and my brother trying to iron it on the kitchen table. Like, I can't wait to get this done. So I remember us ironing it on the kitchen table. And when I first took that first peel off, the paper off, and I saw the design, I was in love. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is my first shirt. And I put it on and I was like, this is so cool. And I wore it on Monday. I wore it to school Monday and I got compliments. I got compliments on the shirt and they said, oh, that's a cool shirt. And I said, I made it. And like, what are you made? I was like, hey, you want one? So I started selling them for like $5, you know? So again, I didn't realize that was something that you could make money off of, you know? And I was 14 years old, you know? So sorry, teachers. But again, when you want to, you know, when you want to learn, you find a way. And when you, so if you come up with excuses, it's just because you just don't want to do it, you know? So you have to have the ganas, the wants to do it because, you know, or else you just make excuses. You just make excuses up. You know, so again, like I fell in love with that. I fell in love with the t-shirt design and I was like, okay, so I try not to become my own client where I would use all my papers, you know, because I think they only gave you 8 at the time, or 5 sheets. There was only 5 sheets. And so I didn't want to be my own client or my own customer. So I would sell it, you know. And I remember, you know, I was turning 15 years old. And again, our resources were very limited. And, you know, I couldn't have a quinceañera. And my mom was like, well, what would you want? I was like, I want a house party, you know. Back then it was cool because I didn't have a lot of friends, but that's what I wanted, you know. Oh, I still don't have a lot of friends, you know, but still. But it was cool because what I did, I got a bunch of magazines and I cut them up. I would cut words out. It says, you know, come join for Gabby's 15th party or birthday party or something like that. So I did it on. I cut it out magazine words, and I taped them on together. It was so funny. It looked like a ransom letter, like because all the words were cut up. It looked, anybody would like, that's pretty cool, but now looking back, it's like that totally looked like a ransom letter, you know. But I remember printing it and it was just amazing, you know. And I've been looking for, I had it somewhere, probably at my mom's house, but yeah, that's, you know, that's how that became. So it was kind of like doing Photoshop but with real life, like copying and pasting and stacking and moving things around. So again, it was just something, I guess I didn't know Photoshop was a program or Corel Draw at the time. But it was just something that I just always loved to do. So when, you know, as the years went on, you know, my brother went to college and, you know, he went to be a police officer. And I was like, well, man, if he's going to college, I got to go to college too, you know? So I went to school and I was like, I'll be a nurse. Okay, I'll go to school to be a nurse. So I went to become a nurse, you know, and I was working in the medical field as a medical assistant. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I like working with people. I like talking to them. But oh my God, when it came to giving bad news, I didn't like it. So I did medical assisting for a while, and I didn't like it, you know. And I went to school, and I was about 2 or 3 classes to signing up for the RN program, and I couldn't do it. I said, I don't want to do this, and I would always go back to computers. So during that time, you know, I was still working the medical field, and I was working at a huge medical group that, you know, they had a graphic designer, but they would pay somebody like that lived in 3 different, like in a different state, I think it was. They were paying that person about like $8,000 a month to design all these different flyers. And I thought, and I'm looking at the design, I said, I could totally do this. I could totally make this. So I presented the idea to my boss, and I said, hey, how much are we paying for this flyer? You know, monthly, like, oh, we're paying, you know, X amount of dollars, but, you know, they do marketing, they do all this stuff. I'm like, I do marketing, you know, I could do this. So I told her, I said, hey, why not? Hey, quiet. I said, why not? Sorry, that's my dog. And so I said, why not? Can I get the program and then learn it? And she said, sure. So she got it on my work computer, you know, on my desk. And I was like, this is a little intimidating. There's a lot of buttons. I said, you know what? I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn it because I always like computers. So again, I asked her, I said, hey, Marlene, I'm practicing here at work, but can I get it on my computer at home so I could work on it from home? Again, it's the ganas, it's the wants. So when you want to learn something, you'll find a way. And if you tell people like, hey, I want to learn how to do this, people are going to want to help you. You know, they're going to want to help you because you have that wants, that wanting to learn, that hunger to learn. And if you're hungry, you're just take off because you're going to find a way, you know? So she said, yeah, she would bring your laptop. I brought my laptop. And what she did, she installed all of Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, all of it on my computer. I didn't know what I was asking for. This is in 2007. I wasn't sure what this is like. I'm already graduated already. I didn't know what I was asking for. And I said, okay, you know, and so I got the program. I went home. I was like, I can't wait to do it. And I was just like trying to figure things on my own. YouTube wasn't as big as it is now, so I didn't rely on YouTube, you know. So I did that. I learned, and I went back to Marlene and I said, I'm so grateful that he gave me Photoshop. Can I pay you? And how much do you want for it? Her words to me was, oh, it gets me a little teary-eyed because I still hold that dear to my heart because I promised her, and that's what I continue doing. So she told me, she said to me, she says, don't pay me anything. She says, always pay it forward. And I'm like, pay it forward? What does that mean? And for the ones that don't mean, it's like if someone does something good for you, you pay it for somebody else, and it just becomes a cycle. So that's why to me, it's like, I always want to reach out to the youth. Like, how can I help you guys? Whether it's sharing my story or helping you guys print a design or anything. But if you have that want to learn and want to help, oh man, people are going to see that, and they're going to see that light, because you want to be that light to like, hey, I want to learn. I want to help. Because in reality, like if you're wanting to help, people know it's like, okay, they want to help, they want to learn, So that's where it evolved, so, was to pay it forward. And ever since then I have, and I try my best to do it. So now, I'm doing graphic design, learning graphic design at home. I was from like, I would get off at 5. I would be on the computer from like 5 to like 10, 10:30, even 11. There'll be times where I would wake up at like 3 in the morning and be like, oh my God, I have this design. I got to do it right now. And I would just do it. I'm not saying you guys wake up at 3 in the morning. I'm not saying that. But again, when you have that want, like it just comes naturally. It just comes naturally. So, and then also too, when you're told, so when I'm doing graphic design, and working in the medical field, I had a boss, she was my higher up and I was under her, and I'm doing graphic design, and I was under her direction. Like, okay, Gabby, we need this flyer for this event, create it. And I would design it, and then it would go back to her, and she would critique it and change things, and I would go back and fix it or whatever. So when it came time to get my review or my raise, I said, hey, well, can I get a new title? And she's like what? And I said, like a graphic designer. And she told me, you're not a graphic designer. And I said, what? I said, well, who designed this then? She said, I did it with, I helped you, so you're not a designer. So when somebody tells me, no, you're not this or you're not that, it makes me more hungry to say, yes, I am. Yes, I am. And it's not being defiant. It's because now it's like, oh, you think I can't do that? I'm not a designer because I didn't go to school for it. I didn't go to school to be a designer. But I'm self-taught. I'm self-taught. So I said, okay. So I went to school. I went to a local community college, and I took all the graphic design classes that they were there. I signed up for all of them. And I walked into class, and this teacher was writing his name on the board, Luke Chappelle. Like he wrote his name on. I walked in, and right away, his name came to me a couple times, and I said, "That's him." Let me go introduce myself. I introduced myself to him. Hi, my name is Gaby Molina. Nice to meet you. And I said, you know what? I'm a self-taught graphic designer. In my mind, I'm like, I'm going to be the best that I can be in his class to stand out. So he would give the lesson. I would raise my hand. Hey, Chappelle. You explained it this way, but can I do it this way? The moment he said to me, Gabby, there's no right or wrong way to do things in graphic design. What? There's not? No. I remember I closed my book. I went home and I was like, oh man, game on. So I was designing and doing just creativity, just coming out, and I said, okay. I went back the next day, and I was showing him, hey, check this out what I did. And we became friends. Chappelle and I became friends after that. And come to find out, Mr. Chappelle taught at the high school where I graduated, Hesperia High School. And he was in the same class that I was in when I was in high school. So he was teaching the class where I was at, where I learned graphic design, or I learned to make my first t-shirt. So one day he told me that he was going to be ready to retire. And he said, I want you to take over. And I was like, huh? I'm working in the medical still. And I said, again, I don't say no. I won't say no, and I won't back down, nothing. Okay, I will. So he told me, go get your credentials, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't go to school to be a teacher, but okay. So I said, okay. So I went, he had cancer. So he told me he was ready to retire. He said, go get your credentials, apply as a sub. That way when you're approved as a sub, you take over. I was like, oh my God, So I did. So I got approved. The moment I got approved, he retired. and I took over his class. So the moment I took over his class, like, oh my God, you guys, it was like, there was a lot of things that I had to restructure, and I didn't go to school to be a teacher, you know? So I said, how can I get these kids on my team? How can it be a win-win for everyone? So I'm in my old classroom where I graduated from, it was my class where everything started. And I said, you know what? Boom, I'm gonna teach them. I'm gonna teach them how to make t-shirts. So, they were being a little loud. I was like, hey, you guys, I have an idea. I would tell my students, they were 11 and 12th grade, and they thought they were too cool. And I was like, all right, I got to be cool with them. So I said, I remember I called the kid up. I'm like, hey, come here. How much you pay for that shirt? Oh, I don't know. My dad did. My dad paid for it. It was $20 or whatever. I was like, let's make it for free. They're like, what? And now I got their attention. So, I gave them a tutorial on how to do t-shirt designing, how to lay it out. And now we're all friends, and we got them printed, we got it printed, we got the shirts, and oh man, it was just amazing. So, I got offered, that was my first, I entered teaching in February 2013. And I just loved it. I loved it. My first year that I was my first year that I was there, I got teacher of the month, and teacher of the month. And then my second year that I was there, I got teacher of the year. But it was a blast. I mean, I just tried to bring real life experiences to the classroom, and within time, Mars Graphics just kept growing and growing, it just evolved into Mars Graphics. And, and I would get the kids involved. Like, hey, I have this client, and I would show them real life, like, this is how I have to lay it out. This is how I have to do it. And I would explain it to them. You got to be 8.5 by 11. You have to create a bleed if you're going to print the flyer or whatever, and that's how I would tell them, and that's how it just came about, and it was just a blast. It was just a blast that we had. And does anybody have any questions so far? Any questions? But yeah, so I taught for about 6 years, and again, we just, where do I find my inspiration? You know what? Just ideas. Like when you start designing and you go to a store like Hobby Lobby, oh my God. If I go to Hobby Lobby, I'm there for about an hour to 2 hours. I'm just like looking at designs like, oh, that's really cool design. Luca, stop. That's my dog. She's saying hi, everybody. Yeah, I would just go into Hobby Lobby or Michael's and just get ideas, inspirations. Or even if you have like YouTube, not YouTube, but like TikTok or like Instagram, and people design things all the time. And especially like TikTok, I know a lot of people, like, depending what the algorithm is, but if you start searching like graphic design or t-shirt design, it changes. So on my end, when I'm on TikTok, I do have a TikTok, but when I do like videos on printing, like all I see is business stuff. And that's where I get inspired too. It's like, wow, that's a great idea. She or he, they printed it this way, or they use a different chemical for that. I'm going to try that. So it's always evolving, always evolving. And again, creativity has no end. Like there's no end to creativity. You could start with an idea, and that idea could like change into something else, so it grows, and the more you nurture it, and the more you baby it, and the more you take care of it, it's just gonna grow. So again, creativity has no end. So yeah, I decided to stop teaching, and it was a very bold move. After my 6th year, I was like, you know what? I love what I do. I love these kids, but you know what? They leave, they graduate, and I get a new set of kids. Same thing. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to go. So I let my students know. I said, hey, you know what? How many of you guys are seniors? A lot of them raised their hand. And like, you guys are graduating this year. Guess what? I'm graduating with you guys. So that's how, like I left in 2019, and I miss it. Sometimes I do, because I love working with teenagers, and like, that is my heart right there. Teenagers, like the youth. Oh man, you guys have my heart, like I want to help, because I've been there. I was you in that seat, like sitting there, like, how can I design this? But you know what? Now with the stuff that you have, the tools in front of you, like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all those social media outlets, like, flip it. Like, don't just go on there and scroll and see the funny stuff and what people are doing. No. flip it. Okay. Instead of you watching them, why aren't they watching you? You know, why aren't they watching you? Like, get on the computer, show your artboard, a blank artboard, and show how, you're designing, because you know what? The way, if you're inspired by them, why can't you inspire someone else? By starting somewhere. You have to start somewhere. You have to, and that person, you're probably ahead of a couple people, and you're like, man, if they could do it, why can't I do it? And why can't you? The only person that stops you is yourself. So that's the only thing, is that, like me, like when they tell me you can't do something, it's like, game on, don't tell me no. And it's not, again, not being defiant. It's like, okay, I'm not a designer. Okay, I'll show you. 3 years later, boom, I'm in the classroom, you know? So again, it's within you, the ganas, the wants, and again, being short, 5 feet, Latina, everybody's a little bit taller than me. So it's, again, the wants, get hungry, stay hungry, and just keep feeding it, keep feeding it. And then you're just going to grow. So, Mars Graphics, again, it evolved when I was, started. The idea was planted 14 years old, and boom, took off. And now I'm in Vegas. So in 2019, when I quit teaching, when I retired my teaching, I did printing. I did a lot of printing for radio stations. I was working for Bose, like the headphones Bose. I was doing doing their ads. My ads were like, I would design a flyer, and then they would send me the wording, the verbiage that goes in the flyer in French, and I would convert it to French, and then that would go to Canada. So my designs are up in Canada right now, or they were. But again, you just never know where it's gonna go. So now, 2 years later, after I quit teaching, I never would have thought I'd be in Vegas ever, but here I am. I'm in Vegas, and during COVID, which was another bold move, I moved in the middle of COVID. I moved in July to Vegas. I packed everything up because I couldn't see my clients anyways, and I couldn't meet with them. So all I did, I was shipping all of my orders out, shipping everything out. So nothing changed. The only thing that changed was my location, and now I'm in Vegas. And it's been amazing. I love it, and just the opportunities that that are here that I would have never imagined, just presented itself. So now, during the day, Monday through Friday, I work at this at Fortress Eyewear. It is a Christian eyewear company called, under Creedom and Crush Eyes. I don't know if you guys heard of them, but you find them in Big Five. You find them in I know they're in Big Five. I know we're in Best Buy. So they're in different locations now, but they're in Jack's Sporting Goods. So not Jack's, but Jack's Surfboard, like a lot of like water sports, like, Big Five, like sports. You see those frames in there. You can even go on freedomcrusheyes.com or fortresseyewear.com. Doing a plug, but yeah, you're able to see it. So again, it's a Christian eyewear company, and it's really cool because now what I'm doing, I do product coordinating. So what I do is I help design the sunglasses, or like the reading glasses or whatever. So what it is, I help design those, like with the colors. My boss would tell me like, hey, make them this color, and on Photoshop, I would convert that frame into that color. And in that color, we put them into like a catalog, and then that catalog will be converted to a PDF, and it goes to wherever it needs to go, whether to Canada, to Florida, wherever it needs to go. That design is being shown. So again, this little 14-year-old just had an idea, and then boom, it took off, and so yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So if you guys go to Big Five, if there's a closed Big Five near you, and if you go to if you see Creedom or Crush Eyes and you see like the actual ad that's on the displays, that came from me. So I also designed those ads that go on the displays for the sunglasses. So again, it's just the creativity. You know what? The qualities and skills that a graphic designer should have, again, it's the wants, the wanting to do it. The wanting to do it, and wanting for you to be your biggest cheerleader. Like that is the biggest quality. Like if you believe in yourself and you are pushing yourself, like, no, I'm going to learn this, and share your stuff. Like, even though you think it's not good, but, or, whatever, if people say, oh, it's not that good, I think it's good, and just push it, but just having the wants, like being your biggest cheerleader, being your biggest cheerleader, like, yeah, I could totally do that. Like, there's days where I'm just like, oh, I don't want to, but it's like, no, get it done, And when Nike says, just do it, just do it, you know, just do it, just get it done, you know. But yeah, like again, like I said, with social media and having those at your fingertips, like you could promote yourself. You could promote yourself. You could promote yourself. You do a t-shirt design again with the image transfer. You could buy it at Walmart. Now you get like 10 sheets for like $8 or something like that. If you go to the crafts aisle, you'll see them. Now they have them in black, and now they have them in black, and now they have them for white shirts. So again, those two papers, the papers that you buy, there's two different products. You have for white shirts, and then you have for black shirts. And the black shirts, they take a different material. So don't try to press a white paper for white shirts onto a black shirt, because it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So any questions on that? So like with a good idea to start, if you're starting, what design, vinyl cutters you suggest? Okay, so I suggest, you know what, with vinyl cutters, you could get a what is it called, a Cricut. Those are cool, but you're very limited. You're limited to like a 14 inch cutter. Those are cool. They're really cool because they're desktop. But if you go on to vinyl, what is it called? Signwarehouse.com. That's www.signwarehouse.com. There, my friends, you're able to find a huge plotter that is I think it's a 36-inch plotter. And it gives you all the vinyl and the stickers and the X-Acto knives, and it gives you all these goodies for like $400. I know it's like, oh, $400 is a lot. You think that's a lot? Well, the Cricut costs you about $350, and you're only getting one piece. So that's where you kind of like see what that's where you see like where you can get the best value. Okay, so that's where I started. I actually started with image transfers, but I started doing it on baby clothes, because babies, they only wear the clothes for a little bit and then they grow out of it, So start with baby clothes, little baby onesies or baby t-shirts. You get those shirts for like $2-3 at Walmart, and boom, slap a design, and off you go, $14. Just saying. So again, it's just again having the quality, the wants, the ganas to do it. So now with again, www.signwarehouse.com. Okay, and then just look for a cutter plotter, or just type in plotter, and then you'll see like all the stuff that's available. So that's where that's the first one I got, was a plotter. Well, the software that I recommend is Photoshop. Like, get familiar with Photoshop. Photoshop and Illustrator, those are the most powerful tools, the software that you should learn, that you need to learn, because you know what? Yeah, you could go to college and learn this stuff, and do it. But again, you take the class, and if you just do it for an hour, no, again, you have to water that. You have to water it, and you have to make sure that skill that you're developing grows. Okay, so again, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, and InDesign's good, like if you're going to get into like layouts and stuff like that, like magazine and books and stuff like that. But it's good to learn it. But those two, learn them first, because Photoshop, you're able to manipulate images. Illustrator, you're going to need it to create vectors, which is a line and anchors and anchor points and oh my god, I drew a blank. But lines and anchors, that's what creates a shape. So you're going to need to know that to run a plotter. Okay, so even if you were to send it, if you're going to Cricut, you got to learn how to vector. You have to create your design into lines. That way your machine or your cutter knows exactly where it's cutting. And that way when you weed it out, you're able to see what it cut. Does that make sense? So again, vectoring is huge. I mean, I would love to do like I could teach you guys if you guys are online, if you guys would like, I could do like an online tutorial on vectoring, or even on some really cool projects that I could teach you guys on Photoshop. But it's really, really cool. I just get really excited, like, to want to teach you guys. Again, it's about paying it forward. I do. That was my next point. I do, Wendy, thank you. I do use a direct-to-garment printer. This is my baby. Yeah, this is my printer here. Back in 2019, it was either, do I want a car or do I want a printer? People be like, nah, get a car. Yeah, but you know what? The moment you drive it off the lot, it already lost some value. This one here, you're just printing and you're making money. It's always like boom. They're always, the longest you promote and have your designs and stuff like that. So this is the Epson Shirt Color F2100. It's so far, there's a lot of direct to garment machines printers online. I did a lot of research. This one is so far like my favorite, just because it's the consistency. The consistency is there, and not only that, but just the colors are so good, and the maintenance on it is very little. So I just love it. My first direct to garment machine, oh my god, I look like a mechanic. Like my nails were always black, like because my hands, because I would always clean it every 2 to 3 days. I was cleaning the machine. The black ink would get under my nails. Oh yeah, it was just horrible. It was horrible. This one, I still have boy hands, but I don't look like a mechanic. So, but yeah, this is a direct to garment machine. I will show you guys a tutorial on how to use it. This one, it runs about $15,000 or so, around there, 15. But again, it's an investment. In order to make money, you gotta invest money. You gotta, put money out to get money in. And then when you make more money, just shave a little bit off the top, put it back in. Just keep recycling the money, and that way it grows and grows and grows and grows. And then that way, you see a little bit of profit. But sometimes, you guys, when you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. You really don't. You don't. Like I love working at Fortress. I love it. I love the people. I love the fact that I can make designs for sunglasses and make designs for stores. I love it. I just so happy. So happy. Like I don't feel like right now I'm supposed to be at work, but you know what? My boss is again my biggest cheerleader. He's a big cheerleader. He's like, yeah, Gabby, you go and talk to them kids. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to them kids, and motivate them. So that's why I'm just trying to motivate you guys and hype you guys up, because you guys, graphic. Everything's going social media. Everything's going to be online. So why can't you design it? Here in Vegas, like there's so much opportunities for graphic designers here. And that's another plan that I have, that I do plan to open up a small school, like a small school, but where I could teach graphic design. So anyways, back to this. This is my printer, and I will show you guys. This is a 4-color process printer. You have 4 colors. You have cyan, magenta, yellow, and key for black. And then you also have white cartridges. So these are the cartridges right here. Okay, these are a little bit pricey. You're spending about $200 a cartridge. So hold on, I plugged out. $200 a cartridge. So it takes 2 white containers, 2 white ones. So you're spending about $400 just for these 2. And I change these out like every 8 weeks or so. But again, by that time, I've been producing shirts, shipping them out. So they actually pay for themselves. Here is the yellow. Again, each cartridge, each color has its own cartridge. Cyan, yellow, magenta, and key for black. Those are your 4 color processes. Okay. So there's that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys how to print. I usually use a lot of the print stores, you guys, and a lot of t-shirts that you buy like on, the stores. Majority of the time, like 95% of the time, it is a Gildan. Believe it or not, it's a Gildan, and it's mainly the black shirts. But they don't use white. A lot of print shop, a lot of like stores, like when they get this stuff printed, they don't use white because it's too thin. But the black shirts, it's a Gildan. I could feel that and smell it a mile away. It's not a bad shirt. It's a good shirt, but it's a Gildan. So anyways, this one, it is a Gildan. This one is called it's the 5000 Gildan, which is considered a heavy cotton, and they print nicely. So I'm going to do a design. I'm going to set it up. So this is the platen here. I'm going to zoom in here. This is the platen that I put. It's funny, I have tape. I use this kind of tape, and I keep it under here just because I always use it. And the reason I use this tape, the painter's tape, because you know what, it's thick and it's just easy to come off, off the shirts. So the reason I use this is because sometimes when I place the shirt, sometimes they get a little bubble on the art, like on the seams, and I just tape it down so it can go through the machine. So when you're printing a shirt, you guys, when you're printing a shirt, you always want to make sure you hang the collar down. Okay, you never want to press it. You never want to print on it because you don't want to get that like that crease on the neck where it's flat. That's no good. That's no good. Okay, you always want to make sure your collar always hangs down. And this is going to sound funny. I'm not crazy, I promise. But the shirt actually talks to you. It tells you like where to print. It's not verbally, of course, but so with this, you always want to grab the seams from the shoulders, kind of shake it up, okay, and then you just lay it on here, you know. And again, hang the collar down, and you kind of just. I'm gonna for just to speed things up. I have a measuring tape to measure like the armpit from here to here for the table, from the table to the armpit. That way you make sure you get it centered. So when you're measuring it out, you always want to measure from the farthest point to the closest point. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my loop. Okay, I'm going to loop my shirt here. Okay, I'm going to loop that. And I want to make sure that there is no obstruction, which means is that there's like no bubble. Okay, that there's no bubble or, okay, like see this? See how it's like wrinkled? That's not going to feed through. So you want to make sure it's nice and flat, no creases and nice and flat. Okay, like that. And then, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get ready to print a design. I'm going to print a design that is one of my, she's a friend of mine and she's also a designer. And she actually has her own clothing brand and I help her print her merchandise. Okay, we're going to go ahead and hit print. And once it's ready to print, it's going to say here, it says ready. Okay, so it's going to show the image here. I'm going to hit start. So that noise you hear is that the ink is being circulated and it's going to be ready to spit. So just imagine a huge printer that you print on a piece of paper. Imagine that, but on a t-shirt. Okay, but it's printing directly onto the t-shirt. And this t-shirt will be done within 30 seconds or so. So I'm just going to wait to it to load and finish circulating. So any questions so far? The way I incorporate feedback from customers, what I do is, let's say if they need like their logo design onto the t-shirt, what I would ask them is I put the design onto the t-shirt and then and I send it back to them. And again, nothing gets printed until they approve it. And they can say, Gabby, can you add this or enhance the colors or whatever, or do what you got, just make it better. Because you never want to print something, even though you might like something, your client might not like it. And if they like it, if they don't like it, they're not going to pay you. Because it's not about what you like, it's about what your client likes, So look at this. This is where it's being printed here. Okay, you can see that. So that's where it's being printing. And you can just see the graphics on that. And the thing is, if you look closely, the ink is not on top of the fibers, they're inside the fibers. There's a difference, so that's that. Any questions so far? And then let me show you what the design actually looks like. So the design is still wet. This is what it looks like. Ever changing. Okay. I picked this design for one of her designs because, again, we're always changing, ever changing. There you go. It's really cool. Cosmic Rose. So, yeah, there's that. So, any questions, you guys? I know Wendy had a question. I saw it, but I couldn't. I missed it. If you can ask again, Wendy, I'm sorry. But yes, again, so this machine and something about the basic profit. The profit on this one, if you okay, so the profit on the shirt, you're looking about, I would say about like for this shirt, for a white shirt, the shirt costs you about let's say about $2.15. To print this, it's about maybe $3, and you're turning around and flipping it for $25 a shirt. So there you go. You have about $20 profit. Depending on, and if there's shipping costs, you just remember taking it off your profit there. So there is a lot. It's like a hidden gold mine. Like t-shirt printing, it's a hidden gold mine. And a lot of designers, a lot of printers, they don't really push direct to garment just because it is expensive to have a printer like this. But again, when you're willing to push and say, I'm going to make it work, it's going to work. As long as you put the ganas, the wants, and you stay hungry, then it's going to work. But if you're like, it's there, I'm not getting any customers, I'm not getting any clients, I'm on TikTok watching other people use a printer, but I'm not making money. You got to flip it. Flip the script. Flip it. If they're making money, what are they doing that you're not? Why are you watching them and why are they not watching you? So any questions, you guys? Any questions? Do you know what? A lot of the times, I was very heavy on social media, on like Instagram and Facebook. I was really pushing on that, and then just making and then also me working at the high school, like that helped a lot. But again, social media, like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I know some of you guys are like, Facebook is for old people, but who do you think's buying bulk? Those are your business owners. Those are the people that need stuff. That's where you would go, depending who your clientele is. But that's where you want to head towards that direction. But yes, social media, Facebook. But again, you guys, but be very, very, very careful what you post on social media. Very careful. I'm not lecturing, but the thing is, be very careful, because if you're starting your clothing brand, or you're starting your designing or your graphic design, and you're sharing it, one day you have these really cool designs, and the next day you're doing something that's like, your character, you're talking foul or whatever. People see that. And there's times where I see, I have some friends or acquaintances, they're designers, and then they'll put some really cool designs. And then, a couple of days later, they're posting about doing whatever. I'm just like, oh, yeah, I don't know, because again, it just shows are you really doing this, or are you I don't know. But just be very careful. Be very careful, because it makes that person think twice to work with you. And it makes them think twice to work for you, with you. And especially also, if you are a graphic designer or going to or learning graphic design, and you want to go apply for a graphic design agency, they will go onto your social media and they will see what you're all about. They will see what you're all about. If you're out there doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing, talking, certain way, they see all that. I see that because I would tell my students the same thing too. I would tell them, be very careful what you put on social media. Because again, you don't know who's watching you, and if they want to hire you, they're like, oh, this person's very out there, or they're just, I don't know. It's just, be very careful. Be very careful. If you're gonna make a page for your graphic design, do that. Hashtag graphic designer, hashtag entrepreneur, hashtag hard work, hashtag boss babe, or whatever. But you wanna hashtag it. So yes, portfolios are big too. That's the thing with portfolios. That is a big thing. A lot of portfolios are online now, again, social media. A lot of the time they don't ask you for a lot of agencies, they don't ask you for let me see your degree in graphic design. No, they don't ask you for that. They want to see your experience. Now it's about the experience. How fast can you get it done, and what tools do you know, and do you know how to use? That is a big one. Because before you say, I'm going to go spend $80,000 on graphic design, learn from graphic designers, learn from them, because again, that's how you grow. That's how you grow, because you can't grab somebody's experience out of a book. They tell you how to do it the right way, yeah, but again, the experience is something might work for me that's not in the book. So portfolios are big. Save your work. Save it. Always save your raw files, which is a PSD or a Photoshop document or Adobe Illustrator file. Always save those files, save them, because again, if that file and you say you made a design and then your client's like, or you have somebody that says, hey, I really like the design, can I buy it off of you? Now you have that raw file, that PSD file. Yeah, I'll sell it to you for like $100 or whatever. And then you would release, or whatever you want to charge them. But now you're able to release that raw document to them, So again, it's not about the money, but again, they're buying your talent, they're buying your work, your experience, So, any other questions? I just hope that I motivate you guys. You know what? Thank God COVID did not affect me. It didn't affect my business. There was a stop for about 3 weeks, where I'm just like, but I think this was like during the beginning of the pandemic where people didn't know which direction it was going. But again, it's about just being a light, being positive and sharing your stuff and being personable with people. Like I would do lives all the time. Like I haven't been on social media for about, I haven't still, I just haven't been active for about 2 months. And you guys, the work just keeps coming in. It keeps coming in, but again, it's how you present yourself, how you, talk to people. And, if you're able to talk to somebody, feel comfortable with somebody, they'll be like, oh yeah, let's do business with her. Let's do business. Even though her deadlines are about a little bit, she's about a week out. I tell them I'm about a week out. They like, it's okay, we'll wait, So again, it's being personable with somebody. But yeah, COVID, it didn't affect me much, So, but it slowed down a little bit. But again, it's the wants, it's the ganas to keep pushing forward. So, any questions? I know somebody has a question. I think my favorite design that I created. Oh my God, I have so many. I think oh my God, I can't even think of one. Oh my gosh, that is a question that got stumped on. Oh, actually, there was one design. I don't even know where it's at. I saw it the other day too, but it was actually one of my first designs that I did. And this is gonna sound funny, but I was a huge wrestling fan, like WWE. You guys, it's real. I don't care what you say, it's real. Just kidding, it's not. But anyways, I used to watch that. And my very first design was a WWE wrestling poster. And it was my first one. And that is the one that stands out the most. Even though I was my first one, like I always go back to that. I was like, man, I was beginning and this was pretty good. I have to find it. I saw it not that long ago. But yeah, it was a WWE one that I did. It was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah. And that design, I actually gifted it to Mr. Chappelle. Again, that was my first design that I did, and I actually gave it to him. So in his classroom. That was the first design I did in his classroom. So yeah. Any other questions, you guys? I know there's somebody that's holding back. Ask. Or I'm gonna, if I can share my social media here too. I am on Facebook under Mars Graphix 1. And if you go on Instagram, it's Mars_Graphix. And if you go on TikTok, it's also Mars Graphix. So I'm on there. So if you guys are too shy to ask questions, you're always welcome to send me an email or email, or my email's on there too. No, but you can go on my website and you can also send an email that way too. So again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You guys, I've been there. I know what it's like. It's a little bit harder for you guys because I'm like, it's my dog. It's a little bit harder because we live in a little crazier, different world than I did when I was your age. But again, if you guys need anything, any questions, if you guys want me to see your designs, I'll be more than happy to. Because again, it's the ganas, it's the wants, it's staying hungry and staying motivated. Because you know what? If you want to do a design and you're like, oh, I'm gonna wait next week. You know what? Next week's gonna come, and that week you could have had it done. You could have had it done. So again, just staying hungry. Just staying hungry. You guys, thank you so much for having me. You guys, thank you so much for having me. I have a blast. I have a blast every time I talk to you guys. Even though I can't see you guys, but you guys have all these cool questions. So thank you.
All right, all right. Well, thank you everybody for attending this entrepreneurship presentation. Thank you, Gaby Molina,
Thank you.
the owner and operator of Mars Graphics. Thanks for sharing your journey and your product design and showing students how to use machinery and just giving good information. And I want to remind everybody to visit www.sbcalliance.org, and you can see our upcoming presentations, which are awesome. We have the careers in dealership and medical occupation. So thank you, everyone. Again, thank you, Gaby. You're
Thank you.
SBC Connect's favorite presenter, but you're also Dr. Michael Richards' favorite presenter.
Oh, thank you.
Again. And we will see you again. Thank you.
See you guys. Thank you.
Everybody.
See you guys. Bye.